Brothers, sisters, comrades, and friends, this is Don of F1 and Mekkah,
Hi.
and we are bringing to you Chapter 5 my Fire Emblem 11 Hard 5 0% Girls playthrough. The thing that you'll immediately notice in this chapter is that the number of deployment slots that we have available is a bit less compared to previous chapters, and the reason for that presumably is because on turn 1 we're going to be getting 5 new recruits. They are part of a consortium named the Wolf Guard. They are named after probably one of the characters in that consortium, whose name is Wolf. In this prep menu, we are reclassing Barst back to Fighter because Barst decided that, much like his predecessor Daryl's, he had enough of the life of pirating and decided to set his ways straight. And we are also forging a Ridersbane forge named Corleone because Jagan discovered that Marth had been embezzling funds for personal expenses and demanded a bribe in order to keep his mouth shut. And Marth reluctantly complied and decided to give Jagan a weapon that is about as expensive as a wing spear, not quite as good, but it will do.
Conveniently, this game has a lot of cavaliers that we need to kill, so Corleone is coming in quite handy. Examples of cavaliers that we need to kill are right north of the starting point, along with an annoying Pegasus Knight. We need to deal with those because there's a recruitable enemy near them that we need to talk to with Merrick, so we need to eliminate everyone else around him. And for that we have a limited supply of units, because some of our units need to take out his enemies, but others need to clear the path for Marth to walk to the gate as he does every chapter, so that's kind of an annoying dilemma.
Yeah, in addition to supporting Marth on his way to the gate, we also have to support the Wolf Guard because their starting items and their starting stats aren't very good. Their best unit is probably Hardin, and he's kind of like a slightly better version of Jagan, but everybody else has kind of bad base stats. Like Rocher, for example, is basically like around the exact same thing as Abel, and they're not capable of dealing with the 3 archers and the 2 cavaliers and the potential Pegasus Knight that can threaten them. So what we're doing is we're trying to divert them. The first thing that we did was we had Wolf in range of all 3 of the enemy archers, but only one of them could attack him, but they all decided to just rush at him instead. And the other thing that we're doing is we're sending Jagan over for some diversionary support.
The Wolf Guard is not the greatest group of characters ever. The best one is surprisingly Hardin. He has the rank to use the Silver Lance at base, which is going to be very useful. And in addition, his base stats, his personal bases are actually pretty good. You might think that Wolf and Setgar are pretty useful, but unfortunately they don't have their broken growth that they have in the normal version of the game. They actually break 100% at some points, but in 0% growth they're less useful than they otherwise would be. And as a result, they're just useful for their promoted classes, and that's about it.
On this enemy phase, Jagan pulls over the enemy Pegasus Knight and one of the enemy Cavaliers as a javelin, and he barely survives doing so. And most players will probably see that and think, oh, Jagan's getting double as early as Chapter 5, what a bad character. But in my view, Jagan had one job only, and that was to divert those enemies without dying. He did that job in a stellar fashion, and so I think that qualifies him as being a good unit.
Speaking of good units, you can see the Sage is in our view now. His name is Wendell, and we're going to recruit him with Merrick. We could also have done it with Marth, but he is busy going towards the gate, so we can't do that. Wendell is, besides the Pope, he's also being notorious for being the fastest character in the whole game. He has a really high personal speed base, and that makes him very useful, especially when he's reclassed. Another great use of Wendell is he can use staffs, and he can actually get to use Warp very quickly. We only need to heal 8 times with him and then reclass him from Sage to Bishop. So we're going to work on that as soon as possible and actually get our first heal in right here.
According to the story, Wendell is Merrick's tutor, I believe, and he really hates violence and hates fighting in war, which would explain why he's on the enemy side and he would have no hesitation in attacking us, and why he's also a really amazing combat unit.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all. Meanwhile, on the other side, we succeeded in diverting most of the enemies away, at least far enough so that Marth and Caeda are sort of safe, and they can get close enough to the boss to kill him next turn.
On the prior enemy phase, Marth is in range of both the Cavalier and the Archer, but the Archer attacks Setgar because Setgar has lower defense and also has lower luck, and the Archer will always move first in this case. So that leaves Marth open to only the enemy Cavalier, and that Cavalier blocks his way, but we're going to destroy him with our Ridersbane Forge.
And that lets us free the way to chip away at the boss with Hardin, who goes all try hard and hits him with the Silver Lance when he didn't even need the crit, because Caeda only needs a little bit of chip damage before she can one-hit KO with the Wing Spear.
We haven't talked about the village in this map thus far. It contains an item that only 2 characters can use, and it ends up costing several turns to obtain, so that's why we skipped it. Anyway, that's Chapter 5 completed in 4 turns. We'll see you next time.
See ya.